All right. Take number 3. I'm only telling you that because I like being candid. Fact. All right. Today I came across some knowledge that I wish I could have given my younger self. Except I don't really, because I think like everything is in divine timing. You know, like you really are where you are supposed to be in the present moment. You're learning and you're changing constantly. You're shifting. So I think that life happens for a reason, and the way it happens is the way it's supposed to happen. Um, but today I came across some knowledge that sums up what I've come to believe in the last few months really wholly. Um, I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's not egotistic or vain for you to say you know something. How bizarre is that? To you, maybe it sounds like common sense. But to me, and I know for many, many other people who are on a similar path as me, who have been told their whole life to speak a certain way or be considerate of every possibility when you speak, um, that doesn't seem so obvious. It's not so obvious. You know, so then when you say, well, um, going to the store isn't that hard. I mean, like, but for someone it is, right? So it's like, oh, well, now I can't say that going to the store isn't so hard. Now I have to say going to the store isn't so hard for most people. All right. Well, I mean that is it's a more true statement, but it wasn't necessarily true to me, right? Um, so I think we have a cultural problem. If one says something and then everyone jumps on them for the thing that they didn't say, we all prefer that someone is candid, right? I mean, that's the idea of the Socratic method. Is like, you know, you bring out something up and then you like tear it down and you break it apart, and then you can like come to the best conclusion by arguing with each other about what sentiments each of you propose and which one is better. I mean, that's life. That's like, oh, well, I have this point of view and I encountered someone with a differing point of view. Does that mean that I should crush everything that they stand for, tear them down, remove all credibility from them because they didn't say something I agree with? No. The idea should be that our ideas clash, and whatever one is better comes out on top. Or you become more, you have more conviction about your own belief. And you're like, all right, well, I understand that we disagree. I agree to disagree, and I'm going to step away with my opinion feeling even sharper than it was before. You know, as iron sharpens iron, a man sharpens another. I think that's beautiful. I think that's got to be life right there. That's the whole point. Like that's the whole point is to encounter the things you don't like, to encounter the things you do like, and continue on with the preferable experience that you want. It doesn't mean you're going to avoid, like, there is no guarantee that you're going to avoid things that you don't prefer. You have to encounter the things you don't prefer to learn what you do prefer. Sometimes other people can give you a lesson, and you can learn without actually having to go through that experience yourself to experience that's a not preferred route. I would rather not go that way. But sometimes you really do have to go through that adversity yourself just to learn the lesson. So I think to bring this back to the cultural problem, it's okay to know stuff. It's okay to feel like you know stuff and to speak like you know and to say that you know. Because you do know. You've lived a life that has led you to having those sentiments, those conclusions, those beliefs that you believe as truth. Those are just as valid as anyone else's. And as soon as you start saying, well, but you're not being considerate enough, what you're doing, by calling someone not considerate enough, you're not being considerate of what their point of view is. So who's to say what is morally good? We all understand that the morality can be subjective. There are certain things that the majority of people really, really agree on should not exist, right? Or like that we would prefer don't exist, and we're absolutely not going to encourage. But there just comes this point where everybody's at each other's throats, and now it's like, well, you said this and that means this, rather than, well, you said this and your intent was this, so I'm just gonna take your intent and take it and run with that. That's how we should function. But we have this world where everyone is so worried about how they're being perceived that they're not doing the perceiving themselves. Like, perceive yourself, come to your own conclusions, live by that. That's what integrity is to live by the truth that you have found to be true, that you feel is true, not what someone told you is true. I actually wrote down something. I'm gonna bring it up right here. Do we really wish to put each other's views, which are reflective of our true beliefs, down until we agree on everything? Do you hope that you never encounter a belief that makes you reconsider your own beliefs ever in your life? Because if you do that, what do you get? Well, if I could find the text real quick. If so, if that is truly what we live for, then we will finally become what that brings about: an aimless, nervous, uninspired mass that lacks conviction. That's the truth. You have to be willing to stand for something, or you will fall for anything. I just wish I could have told myself when I was younger that it's okay to know things, because you do know things. You know them to be true. That's what the phrase "speak your truth" means. It's not speak my truth and say that everyone else must believe it is truth. It's speak your truth and then be open to someone else shifting your point of view so that your truth becomes more accurate. Or for it to remain the same because you now have more conviction in what you believe. So I wanted to tell someone else that, so that maybe they can take the step forward to allow themselves to function, to say what they want to say without worry of the repercussions. Half the time there are no repercussions. Your only repercussion for speaking your truth is remaining authentic to yourself. And if you live in a place where your authentic self isn't welcome, I'm not telling you to wear it on your sleeve all the time, but I'm saying in the right environment where you can speak candidly, you should speak candidly, because you owe it to those other people for your input to influence their input. Well, their perception, and maybe it does change their input a little bit. Maybe they go, wait a minute, you're right about that. Maybe I should think about this. You can always give your input. It is always up to the other person whether or not they want to take it, or if it just doesn't benefit them and they don't want to. That's the bottom line. But we live in a world, we have lived in a world, I really think we're changing. I really think the day-to-day conversations have given me the inkling that people are changing and being a lot more open to public discourse, meaning actually just talking. Incredible. So yeah, I hope that helped you. I hope it helped you, because it definitely would have sped along my own journey a little bit if I only understood that my own input was just as valid as anyone else, and that it really is valuable. It really is valuable. So be authentic with yourself. That's self-love, and it allows you to be authentic with other people and help them come to the conclusions that allow them to live their version of self-love. So I love you, and take care.